Alright, well, it's another adventure at Easy Eddie's. I guess we have to be mechanics today instead of tree service guys. I thought on a lark I'd check the brake fluid, and the brake fluid's low. So we decided to look under the truck for leaks, and there's all kinds of brake fluid all over the inside of the rear right tire. So we turned it on and we pumped the brake, and it's just gouging out at an unbelievable rate, so it's not really safe to drive at this point. There you go. See how bad that rotor is? It's like nothing right here, and that means that those pins were frozen in that caliper there. So I think we got to pull the axle. Okay, so these pins actually go in these slots. So best I can tell, it's got kind of a lip that stops right there, and so you drive it in from the back, best I can tell, and they compress, and them set right there like that, and then as you're driving, these are your slides basically. So I don't know how, but that caliper slides on these metal slides, and I just drove them out with this, and they fell out the back, and then I was just able to tap that rotor or that caliper free. So now we got to take the bolts out that hold the axle in place, and we'll go from there. These are standard threads. Oh, there's no keyway. That is a really interesting one. Oh! Oh, Gucci, man, I'm Gucci. You good, cuz? Oh, wow. That thing's cool. Alright guys, here's how this goes. So in there you got a bearing kind of up where my finger is, and then there's another bearing that goes on this taper. So I pulled out the one bearing. That inner one, I don't know what the deal is with that, but basically when you take out that nut that I spun out, this thing comes free. So that rotor now has to get separated. There you go. We got some big negative stars in there. We need a special tool to get them out. So there's your caliper. As you can see, no bolts anywhere on this caliper. It's just the slides, see? So, kind of amazing. This here's that tapered bearing. There's 2 tapered bearings in every set, and that bearing's good. And here we have this weird nut. It's kind of cool. It's got some sort of a frictional nature to it where you can thread it in and out using a certain degree of force, but it uses friction to hold itself in place. It's got increments to it. It's kind of weird. You can feel it clicking as you tighten it and loosen it. But that's kind of a special nut. I haven't seen one of those. Sometimes it has a keyway, and them are really easy, and then it's got a spring clip that holds the keyway in place. We took that air nozzle and we blew it in through this hole right here, and we put a 2x4 in that space right there, and then when the pistons shot out, they hit the 2x4 and they didn't hit the metal or injure anybody. So there is all kinds of delicious goop inside that, and that is just a little bit of what we got. And you can see that these pistons are just chowdered up. That is all incredibly rough, rusty, rotten. it probably would come off, but I'm thinking we might need new pistons at this point. This little socket right here, it's a Torx, external Torx, E-Torx. You need E18 for these bolts. These little weird, trying to show you the bolt, but it's too dark. So that's the bolt, and you got 10 of these holding that on, holding the rotor on. Get in there a little bit. Lay it down actually, I'll spin it. Alright, so I got the new rotor bolted on, and we just made sure that the inner bearing was clean. It had some play in it, but I didn't really know what it was exactly supposed to be like to start with, and it's smooth. There's no really bad noises coming from it. So that little weird screw has to be basically run in on the threads with a punch, because I don't have a spanner for it. So I'm just going to get that to a point where it seems like it's a reasonable amount of tightness without going overboard, and make sure that the back wheel is still able to spin. Goodness. Alright. I think that probably kept the bearing a lot cleaner than before. I'm sure they have a Torx back. Alright, so we got the caliper on. We bled the system. The line's hooked up and it's not leaking. So everything should be set here except for putting the wheels on. The dually has a guide pin that your inner wheel, there's a pin that sticks out of the spindle, and there's a guide hole on the wheels that has to go over that pin. If you don't put that over that pin, I know because the shop that did my tires originally didn't line up the outer wheel with the pin, and the whole wheel was going like this while I was driving down the road. And the pin is shot, you can see it because it's all bent and disformed, but you just have to make sure those are lined up. Alright, let's get this on. Back on. The nuts at 140 pounds of torque, so I've lapped them a couple extra times with the impact, so it's supposed to be 140 foot-pounds. So that's how you do the brakes on the rear of the 1991 F Super Duty. This has got the 7.3 International diesel engine, the IDI. Hope you guys all have success on your mechanic work, you too. watching.